Hi there, Kristina Ribellia from Western Water Market here. I wanted to share with you the 3 main steps to selling water rights in the West. Now, no, this is going to look different whether you're in Washington, Oregon, Arizona, or elsewhere. There's really nuances within each state and even each basin or groundwater area that you're in. But these are the 3 key steps to selling water rights. All right, let's get started. So the first step is knowing exactly what you have to sell. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but water rights can be relinquished wholly or in part for non-use. Thankfully, there are exemptions and different programs in places that can protect those water rights from relinquishment, but that's a real concern. So if you have recently acquired property with water rights, you inherited property with water rights, or you are looking at your retirement portfolio and you're interested in selling those water rights, you want to know exactly what you have to sell. So what's on paper isn't necessarily what you can actually sell and transfer to someone else. So the way that you're able to find out exactly what you have really is to work with a local qualified professional. Now, the best thing about working with a water right consultant or attorney that knows water rights in your area is that they are going to be able to find as much water as possible, as legally, physically possible for you to market and sell. So that's one benefit. And they're also able to do this, here's another benefit, in a confidential manner. They can have a conversation with you about your water rights before you ever take it to the state, who will have the ultimate decision on whether or not you can sell or transfer those water rights to someone else. So having those confidential conversations with a water right consultant or attorney is key. The other benefit of working with a water right consultant and attorney up front to really understand what you have is not just how much water rights you have, but really what are the value of those water rights. So as you can imagine, water is worth, different prices depending on where you're at, and really understanding the value of your water rights in particular, the type of water rights that you have, where those water rights can potentially be transferred to, or the types of uses that those water rights can be used for, all play into the value of those water rights. So understanding what you have up front, both in quantity and understanding a bit more about the value of those water rights, are going to set you up best when it comes to responding to inquiries and people making offers. You're going to be able to make an informed decision on what your water rights are worth and how, if and how, you want to move forward with selling them. Okay, so the first one again is know what you have. The second one is list your water rights on the market. Now, I will just share this with you. I used to be essentially a water right buyer that would reach out to people I was interested in acquiring water rights from. And this happens. These are kind of targeted acquisitions is what they're called. And that's common just because few people sometimes have those water rights that are needed for certain uses. And before I launched Western Water Market at the beginning of 2020, there was not this open market, this widespread open market for buyers and sellers to connect. Now, if you're interested in getting the most that you possibly can for your water rights, this is why you want to know exactly what you have and to consider listing on the open market. That's going to give you the broadest audience to get eyes on your water rights. Now, this is not only going to help you reach more people. The hope is that it's also going to reach people in your community, that neighbor 5 miles down the road. But without you putting those water rights on the market, you're essentially really limiting who can see that you're interested in selling, and therefore limiting your chance to get offers and to have options about who you sell to and for what price, right? These are your assets, and you want to be in the driver's seat of responding to these inquiries. Now, when you list on the market, you have a choice. You can list with a water right professional that you're working with, and they can respond to inquiries. So they can essentially be managing your listing for you and responding to those inquiries. Or you can list yourself on the market and have those inquiries come directly to you. But again, definitely know what you have so that you are best prepared to advocate for yourself when looking to sell your water rights. So again, listing on the market. You can list on westernwatermarket.com to put your water rights on the open market. Okay, the third process, the third step to selling water rights is really the transaction and the transfer of those water rights. So the transaction does not occur on Western Water Market. Water rights are incredibly complex. And again, this is why you're going to want to work with a water right professional, but that transaction cannot easily happen online. This is where really you need to do your due diligence, or your buyer will want to do their due diligence to ensure what you have is in fact what you have to sell. And it can be a very time-intensive process. So just to manage some expectations here, it can take sometimes 6 months to 2 years or more for a transaction to be completed. And the reason why is that once you've connected with a buyer and seller and you have drafted a purchase and sale agreement, that purchase and sale agreement is essentially pending approval by the state that you're in. So you're not able to just transfer a water right to whoever wants to buy them in any location. That approval comes from the state, your respective state, that will respond to essentially a change application that you or your water right professional submits to the state, asking for the water right to be transferred to essentially a new location and possibly even a new use. So until the state makes a determination on your application, the purchase and sale agreement will be pending. So once you get to the place of the transaction and transfer, you will negotiate with the buyer. You will work with hopefully an attorney to draft up a purchase and sale agreement. You will submit a change application to the state, again, working with a qualified professional. Once the state makes their decision, their determination on that change to the water right, your purchase and sale agreement will be finalized, and then you can be paid. Deed can be transferred. These are the general 3 steps really to selling water rights. Now, as you can imagine, and as I continue to come back to, is you really want to work with a water right professional as early as you can in the process. Now, if you feel fairly confident in what you have to sell and that you feel like you know the value of your water rights and you can really negotiate yourself, you are welcome to list on Western Water Market. Now, keep in mind that we won't be able to provide really any advice or to help guide you. This is a listing that you put on the market and that you manage. So that is another option. But again, I highly, highly recommend working with a water right consultant or attorney as early in the process as possible. Now, if you want to cut down on those transaction costs to you, you can put in your listing on the market that your expectation is that the buyer will pay for those transaction costs, or whatever that may look like. With most deals, most aspects are negotiable, and that is certainly one of them. So I am going to go ahead and link up for you in the show notes, in the notes here, a link to our local water right professionals that are helping serve and build Western Water Market across the West. So I'm going to put a link to them. I will also put a link to listing water rights for sale and lease on Western Water Market if you feel like you're ready to get started with that, or you just want to learn more about what that looks like. It's a really just kind of an easy entry. We're trying to make this as accessible and easy for people as possible. So I'll put those links in there. I'll also add a link to my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about listing your water rights for sale on Western Water Market, or just curious in the process of what it looks like for you locally to go through this process. I'm happy to put you in touch with a water right professional that can assist. Okay, take care, keep well.